knowledge being so narrow, as I have shown, it will perhaps give us some light into the present state of our minds if we look a little into the dark side and take a view of our ignorance, which, being infinitely larger than our knowledge, may serve much to the quieting of disputes and improvement of useful knowledge. If, discovering how far we have clear and distinct ideas, we confine our thoughts within the contemplation of those things that are within the reach of our understandings, and launch not out into that abyss of darkness, where we have not eyes to see nor faculties to perceive anything, out of a presumption that nothing is beyond our comprehension. But to be satisfied of the folly of such a conceit, we need not go far. He that knows anything knows this, in the first place, that he need not seek long for instances of his ignorance. The meanest and most obvious things that come in our way have dark sides that the quickest sight cannot penetrate into. The clearest and most enlarged understandings of thinking men find themselves puzzled and at a loss in every particle of matter. We shall the less wonder, to find it so, when we consider the causes of our ignorance, which, from what has been said, I suppose will be found to be these three.
Argument. Address to the Evening Star. Apostrophe to Fingal and his times. Minona sings before the king the song of the unfortunate Selma, and the bards exhibit other specimens of their poetical talents, according to the annual custom established by the monarchs of the ancient Caledonians. Star of descending night, fair is thy light in the west. Thou liftest thy unshorn head from thy cloud, thy steps are stately on thy hill. What dost thou behold in the plain? The stormy winds are laid. The murmur of the torrent comes from afar. Roaring waves climb the distant rock. The flies of evening are on their feeble wings. The hum of their course is on the field. What dost thou behold, fair light? But thou dost smile and depart. The waves come with joy around thee. They bathe thy lovely hair. Farewell, thou silent beam. Let the light of Ossian's soul arise.
First, want of ideas, its causes. Secondly, want of a discoverable connection between the ideas we have. Thirdly, want of tracing and examining our ideas. First, one cause of our ignorance, want of ideas. 1. Want of simple ideas that other creatures in other parts of the universe may have. First, there are some things, and those not a few, that we are ignorant of for want of ideas. First, all the simple ideas we have are confined, as I have shown, to those we receive from corporeal objects by sensation, and from the operations of our own minds as the objects of reflection. But how much these few and narrow inlets are disproportionate to the vast whole extent of all beings will not be hard to persuade those who are not so foolish as to think their span the measure of all things.
And it does arise in its strength. I behold my departed friends. Their gathering is on Laura, as in the days of other years. Fingal comes like a watery column of mist. His heroes are around, and see the bards of song, grey-haired Olin, stately Rhino, Alban with the tuneful voice, the soft complaint of Minona. How are ye changed, my friends, since the day of Selma's feast, when we contended like gales of spring, as they fly along the hill, and bend by turns the feebly whistling grass. Minona came forth in her beauty, with downcast look and tearful eye. Her hair flew softly on the blast that rushed unfrequent through the hill.
What other simple ideas it is possible the creatures in other parts of the universe may have, by the assistance of senses and faculties, more or perfecter than we have, or different from ours, it is not for us to determine. But to say or think there are no such, because we conceive nothing of them, is no better an argument than if a blind man should be positive in it, that there was no such thing as sight and colors, because he itself any notions about seeing. The ignorance and darkness that is in us no more hinders nor confines the knowledge that is in others than the blindness of a mole is an argument against the quick-sightedness of an eagle. He that will consider the infinite power, wisdom, and goodness of the Creator of all things will find reason to think it was not all laid out upon so inconsiderable, mean, and impotent a creature as he will find man to be, who in all probability is one of the lowest of all intellectual beings.
The souls of the heroes were sad when she raised the tuneful voice. Often had they seen the grave of Salgar, the dark dwelling of wide-bosomed Colma. Colma left alone on the hill with all her voice of song. Salgar promised to come, but the night descended around. Hear the voice of Colma when she sat alone on the hill. Colma, it is night, I am alone, forlorn on the hill of storms. The wind is heard on the mountain, the torrent pours down the rock. No hut receives me from the rain, forlorn on the hill of winds.
What faculties, therefore, other species of creatures have to penetrate into the nature and inmost constitutions of things, what ideas they may receive of them far different from ours, we know not. This we know and certainly find that we want several other views of them besides those we have, to make discoveries of them more perfect. And we may be convinced that the ideas we can attain to by our faculties are very disproportionate to things themselves, when a positive, clear, distinct one of substance itself, which is the foundation of all the rest, is concealed from us. But want of ideas of this kind, being a part as well as cause of our ignorance, cannot be described. Only this I think I may confidently say of it, that the intellectual and sensible world are in this perfectly alike, that part which we see of either of them holds no proportion with what we see not, and whatsoever we can reach with our eyes or our thoughts of either of them is but a point, almost nothing in comparison of the rest.
Rise, moon, from behind thy clouds. Stars of the night, arise. Lead me some light to the place where my love rests from the chase alone, his bow near him unstrung, his dogs panting around him. But here I must sit alone by the rock of the mossy stream. The stream and the wind roar aloud. I hear not the voice of my love. Why delays my Salgar? Why the chief of the hill his promise? Here is the rock, and here the tree. Here is the roaring stream. Thou didst promise with night to be here. Ah, whither is my Salgar gone? With thee I would fly from my father, with thee from my brother of pride. Our race have long been foes. We are not foes, O Salgar.
Want of simple ideas that men are capable of having, but having not, one, because their remoteness, or, secondly, another great cause of ignorance is the want of ideas we are capable of, as the want of ideas which our faculties are not able to give us shuts us wholly from those views of things which it is reasonable to think other beings, perfecter than we, have, of which we know nothing. So the want of ideas I now speak of keeps us in ignorance of things we conceive capable of being known to us. Bulk, figure, and motion we have ideas of. But though we are not without ideas of these primary qualities of bodies in general, yet not knowing what is the particular bulk, figure, and motion of the greatest part of the bodies of the universe, we are ignorant of the several powers, efficacies, and ways of operation whereby the effects which we daily see are produced.